Okay, welcome to part 2. Now, I was going to watch some QIXL instead of recording this, but the area on my TV is complete shite and won't let me watch it, because it's like you literally have to have perfect weather in order to watch TV on some channels, and because I live in the UK, that rarely ever is the case, as I'm sure anyone who's from Britain would agree. Anyway, let's start the system. We switch it on. Ah, the TV is a bit quiet. There we go. Yeah, now it's where I put it, the music's actually from Double Dragon 2. As you can see, we have some games on here. And you also notice that the colours are a bit dark for some reason. I haven't got a clue why this is. I don't know, maybe it's designed for C-cam TVs or something stupid like that. But I haven't got a clue because I don't have a C-cam TV. As you can see, Crash, Double Drag, Chip and Dar, presumably not Russian, Mitsumi, Scoon, Harry Potter, 1942, Sonic, Pikachu, and Pikachu, sorry, and Zippy Race. For no particular reason, we have Yogi Bear. I don't understand that because he doesn't actually appear in any of the games. And yes, we start at Crash, press start, begin. Great. By Virgin. Just realised the music on the menu is actually really quiet compared to everything else. Made in 2011, which happens to be this year, or at least the year I recorded it in. Yes, made by... I love how they forgot to change the copyright yet. They changed the copyright year. That doesn't even make sense. But yes, as you might be able to tell, this is, of course, the Jungle Book. The NES version of the Jungle Book. First thing to point out, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in part 1, but it's annoying. It's so annoying I'm going to mention it here. The controls are reversed. And I'm not very familiar with this game, which doesn't really help. I mean, I played the Game Gear version as a kid. But yeah, as you might notice, I'm not very good at this version because I haven't played it much. I mean, obviously it's just a sprite hack of the Jungle Book. Basically, Mowgli was replaced with what's supposed to be Crash Bandicoot, although it really doesn't look like him. And yeah, they changed the copyright year, and aside from that, it is pretty much the same game. The game itself seems to be alright, I suppose, but like I said, I'm not very good at it. Hey, run, Crash! But yeah, obviously, you know, this was made this year, so naturally the Famicom itself is very new. And, that's enough of that. Okay, I always like the screen that appears, maybe you start the thing up. Game of 2 is Double Drag. No, it isn't actually Double Dragon 2. Which is kind of odd because they showed a picture of Double Dragon 3 on the box. Oh no. Maybe it's one of the games on the what's it called? On the cartridge, but like I said, the cartridge doesn't even work. Again, what's funny is that they actually moved copyrights in this one, even though they didn't in the first one. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Oh yeah, now here is where the sort of reverse controls are at the most annoying, because in Double Dragon 2, unlike the first and third games, you have to to attack to the left you have to press the B button, and to attack to the right you have to press the A button. And here, because the controls are reversed, you essentially have to press the button on the right to attack to the left. It just makes no sense, and it's really aggravating. Talking about the game itself, this is actually a very good game in my opinion. I mean, it's my personal favourite of the three, at least out of the ones on the NES. Obviously it's a bit slower thanks to the PAL emulation, but it's not really a big deal. Still plays very well. I mean, the first game was alright, but you can't really dodge most of the hits that you got. At least here you actually had a decent chance to dodge stuff. Oh yeah, and sometimes when you're playing this with the sort of AV thing on the TV, because the way it was made, because how cheap it was produced, every now and then you'll just see the screen sort of flicker a bit, which is kind of stupid. I suppose if you shake the controller around a lot, it'll probably do that a lot more. Double Dragon 2 itself is a very good game. Oh yeah, speaking of Double Dragon 3, I forgot to mention that. Oh no, never liked Double Dragon 3, it was just way too difficult for its own good in my opinion. I mean, it was just like Double Dragon 1, except worse, somehow. In terms of difficulty, that is. And of course I have Double Dragon 1 and 2 on the Game Boy as well. I mean, Double Dragon 2 I have on a multi-cart, and that was actually a pretty good game. Even if it was almost nothing like the other versions, or none of the other versions I'm aware of at least. I don't understand though, it's like when you pick up the weapons, when you get to a next part, the weapons sort of disappear, which makes no sense. But yeah, that's enough for Double Dragon 2. Or maybe not, because it's still going to play the Double Dragon 2 music on the menu. So Chip and Dale is, of course, Chip and Dale. Again, they forgot to remove the copyright. And yeah, it's the Japanese version, so I can't read the text. Double Dragon, no, sorry, not Double Dragon. Chip and Dale, awesome game. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people out there who have played in NES will be familiar with this one. It's basically one of the NES classics, I suppose. And it plays just like it should, really, aside from the slowdown. And yeah, as you might notice, the sound emulation is a bit off. Like most Famiclones made after the late 90s, I suppose. The sound emulation is a bit off because the system essentially runs on NOAC, I think. I say I think, I mean I haven't checked the units. I mean, for all I know, it could be like a one station, I suppose. But it might not be, because, like I said, the one station cart, it comes with one station cart, but it doesn't work. So, I'm not sure if they just bundled one cart, which would be pretty damn stupid, or it's just the game, or it's just the cartridge being defective. It could be either, to be honest. It could be both, actually. You know what pirates are like, but yeah. Let's see if I can complete this section of the level before I move on. And yeah, you may notice there's a bit of blur here for some reason. I'm not sure if that's something to do with the AV cable, but it's just stupid. I died. Yeah. Okay, so game number 4 is Mitsumi, made by Tomy. Once again, they didn't really bother changing the copyrights. Yeah, Mitsumi Gatoru. Presumably made by Tomy. I'm not sure if they actually made the game or just published it, because this is the only game I'm aware of where they were involved in any way, shape or form, actually. The game itself is actually quite awesome. For whatever reason it features troll dolls. I don't really understand that, but whatever. And yes, basically plays this three-eyed boy in a very awesome platformer. And yes, if we go around on the truck, and some dogs should appear in a bit. Great. Ah, here we go. Yes, the dogs appear, and they look suspicious like hamsters, but that's just my opinion. God, that reminds you of something that I do not want to be reminded of, mainly because the people involved with it are just weirdos. But that's my opinion, and that dog didn't even try to attack me. What the hell's with that? I want the coin you give me, you stupid dog. Oh no, maybe it's a dog. Mutant hamster hybrid or something. Who knows? Whatever. Yo, I want to shoot the dogs. Normally so much better at this part. As in I actually get most of them. And eventually the truck will stop and we can move on with the level. Yes, go wait for this. This part's kind of annoying because, I mean, yeah, you can just skip the spider, but the spider gives you so much gold that you pretty much need to attack it. But yeah, I think you've seen enough of what this game has to offer, so moving on. Okay, so let's move on to game number 5, which is Schooner. Screw. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm just going to call it Screw, just because. Made by IREM, if I remember correctly. And this one is sort of an early shoot 'em up. Yes, we sort of get into the first gen stuff at this point. I love this because you just sort of spam that thing at the beginning and just get 5,000 points off it, which is a bit cheap, but whatever. Scoon is actually a pretty good shoot 'em up. Basically plays this submarine underwater, and you have to attack sea life because you're evil. Oh no, I don't get why you're attacking them, but if they're flying, well, for whatever reason, the pink fish can kill you, and yet the sharks can't. And wouldn't you think it'd be the other way around? That just seems a bit weird. And yeah, you can rescue people like in Jackal, which sadly is not included. And I died. Yeah, getting to the first gen stuff now. Game number 6 is Harry Potter, which sadly is not Harry's Legend. It is actually yes, it is actually it's this game, which has some of the most insanely bad music I've ever heard. Seriously. Well, it's not quite as bad as Samari, but it's still pretty bad nonetheless, as you might have noticed. Basically, the game is a hack of Magic Carpet 1001, which was one of the games off the Caltron 6-in-1. I'm sure some of you out there know what that is. I must say, it's kind of a pain to actually move in diagonals for whatever reason. And yes, you get 8 lives as opposed to 6. Because the original gave you 6 lives, this one gives you 8 for whatever reason. No, not really sure why that is. But yeah, can't stand the music very much longer, so let's move on to a better game. And game number 7 is 1942, which happens to be yet another shooter. Yeah, showing this one numerous times because I have it on numerous cartridges. Multi-carts to be precise. Yes, again the sound is annoying, although nowhere near as bad as the Harry Potter game at least. I mean, yeah. That said, I'm not sure if you can really count this as music. It's basically just do 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 do. I mean, it's a very good game. I mean, it's obviously not as good as 1943, but it is still a pretty good game nonetheless. It is basically just shoot shit, and it does that job very well. And it's a lot better than X Head X's. Oh, yeah, that sort of thing. I tend to be always same developers actually. Okay, oh, I was pressing the select button by accident when I was trying to press reset. Okay, so game number 8, sorry, is Sonic. Better move the camera a bit so you can see the whole thing. Okay, Sonic, which is not Samari. It's about what you might expect. No, it is actually Adventure Island, essentially. Except, of course, instead of playing as Master Higgins, you play as Sonic, which just looks bloody stupid. Yeah, oh yes. Again, controlling this thing's a pain in the arse thanks to the reverse controls. I mean, it plays exactly the same as the original. I mean, the graphics have changed, and that's about it. I mean, the snails were replaced with these. Oh no, I mean, they're supposed to be Mario heads. I can't really tell. It doesn't really make much sense. It still plays very well, but you know, it just looks weird. It's like, it would make a lot more. I mean, I would have preferred if they just included the original version where it was just Master Higgins. I mean, having Sonic running around in Adventure Island is just stupid, as far as I'm concerned. Game number 9 is PKHU, and this is basically a really shitty hack of Super Mario Bros. You'd think if they were going to put a hack on here, they'd put one of a lesser known game. And yeah, I suck at it. I mean, especially with the reverse controls. So moving on, I don't think I really need to go into detail with that one. Zippy Race is not a hack, it's just Zippy Race. Yes. And, well, Zippy Race is essentially Road Fighter, except not quite as good. Of course, in Road Fighter, you can at least crash into cars and not blow up instantly. Here, you can't do that. That and, well, basically, it's sort of like an early arcade game, I suppose. You know, Road Fighter this isn't. And certainly not pole position. Or, Yeah, it's alright, I suppose. It's better than the last few games. Well, it's better than some of the previous games, but it's still not that great. I mean, I'd rather play Road Fighter myself. Soccer, which surprisingly I have not covered yet on this channel, I don't think. And I press the reset button by accident. No, I do want to play this one. Plays Britain, of course, because well, Britain is great. Or so they say. And I forget which button does which, because I'm not that great at this one. Or, despite being British, I was never all that great at football games. But no, apparently I did press the right button, and I did actually score. That was quick. Yep, Britain goes on to win 5-0, and let's move on. Game number 12 is Elevator AC. No, it is a... yeah, of course it's elevator action, as you can probably guess. And elevator action is a very good game, as I will show you. Yeah, this is, to me, out of the sort of early Taito games released on the Famicom, this was probably one of the... Actually, no, I could think of it. Was this game even released on the Famicom? I know we got a NES release. I'm not sure if there was a Famicom version. But yeah, out of Taito's earlier Famicom NES releases, I'd say this is probably one of the better ones. I mean, it's a lot better than, well, Check and Pop and Frontline, all them ones. I mean, most of Taito's games from, well, most of Taito's games in general are actually pretty awesome, actually. But, and this is one of those games. This is a very good game. It's very well designed. Although it does get really hard when you get to like the last 10 floors. But still, awesome game. And yes, so let's move on. Game number 13 is B-Wings. And B-Wings is again another shooter, as you can probably guess. Yep, I'm going to pick the hammer. Like I've said several times already, you can't touch this. Do I really have to reference MC Hammer every time I play this game? Apparently, because the hammer is because the hammer is one of the few good weapons, and it's by far my favourite, because I get a shield, and shields are win because you never lose it until you die, and that I do approve of, because I like being a cheap bugger. Hence why I like playing as the sniper in Team Fortress 2. Yeah, it's pity there's no Team Fortress 2 on here, but then again, being a Famicom, I wouldn't really have expected it to be on here, so yeah, can't really fault them for that. If I was to blame, someone's going to hack Contra and call it Team Fortress 2 or something, and stick it on one of these Famicom things. You know, pirates, I'll probably do that. I mean, they already rebranded Crackdown and Mega Drive as Metal Gear Solid, I think. And yes, going back to the PvP logo, great. Game number 14 is Porter. Now you might notice that the graphics on the menu are actually from the original version of the game. But if I start the game up, yeah, they put the hacked version on, which is just weird. It's like, why would they have the graphics from the original version on the menu if they use the hacked version on the actual thing? It's just stupid, in my opinion. It's like, you know, and I won't mind, but this hacked version is basically just the same thing as the original, but the colours are just ugly. You know, I mean, it's like, could they have picked worse colours? Well, actually, yeah, they could. Because from what I remember, the version of Porter on my Gunfighter was actually even worse looking than this, believe it or not. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of you know what Porter is. It's basically Sokoban. So let's move on to game number 15, which is 10-yard fight. And as you might notice, all the games from this point are in alphabetical order. Or at least in alphabetical order according to the menu, of course. 10-yard fight is basically American football. The problem with this being that I'm British and therefore haven't got a clue how to play it. Yeah, don't get a Brit to play an American's game, let's just put it that way. Unless, of course, it was an American game that isn't American football, in which case they can play it just fine. yeah, basically an early American football game. Haven't got a clue how to pass the ball. It doesn't seem to work at all, actually. But yeah, I suppose if you like American football, it's a decent game. But I can't review it properly because I'm British and therefore don't know how to play it. 90 Tank is just Tank A 1990. And this is, well, Tank A 1990, as it's on the title screen. Yeah, because every clone needs to have a tank game on here, no matter what it's called. And I died. Screw that. I showed you Bell City a million times already, haven't I? Antarctica. Yeah, once then they couldn't actually fit the name on. But it's Antarctica Adventure. And Antarctica Adventure is a good game, as you will see in a bit. I have this on 1 or 2 multi-carts, and I'm thankful for that, because, like I said, very good game. Basically, you have to get to the... well, you basically have to sort of go around the North Pole collecting flags and eating fish or something. I don't get that either. I mean, what makes even less sense is that you can sort of... is if you collect sort of like a flag that constantly changes colour, you can sort of... as you'll see here, you can fly around, which is just weird. I mean, I don't remember penguins being able to fly. And yes, very basic game, but it is also a very awesome game, so yeah. And moving on to the next game, which is, oh god, Arabian. Always hated this game, because it sucks. Well, it's not so much that the game itself is just badly designed. I mean, I could put with the game being badly designed, it's just the third level that really drives me off playing it altogether. Because the third level is just so badly designed, it's unbelievable. Like, you literally cannot complete it without being lucky. And yeah, I can't be bothered with that. Next game is Balloon Fig. Strange, I don't recall figs being turned into balloons. But no, it is Balloon Fight. I'm sure you could have guessed that. And I'm sure you lot are familiar with the concept of Balloon Fight. You basically have to fight things with balloons. Not entirely sure what they're supposed to be. Apparently they're weird looking crow men with overalls or something. That's what they look like to me. And that's the important thing. Presumably. This is actually a very good game. One of my favourites on here actually. And, crash into him. But yes, moving on. Okay, let's move on to game number 20, which is baseball. Oh great, it's another American sports game. But it is one I do know how to play at least, so it's not a complete loss. See, am I pitching or am I batting? I want to bat for once. No, I'm pitching. In fact, screw that, I want to bat. It's just going to keep resetting the game until it lets me bat. I swear it's completely random as to whether you can bat or not, which is just stupid. Let's play as T, see if I get any more luck with T, because T stands for terrific, which I am not. Yay, I couldn't even hit that. And yeah, I do know trying to hit something that you can't hit counts as a strike, but whatever. That I hit, and they can't even get to the ball. See if I can get to second base before I get out. Oh, okay, he doesn't want to run to second base. It's a pity you can't force him to. See if I can actually get a point. Quite possibly actually. Because I'm not doing too badly at the moment. Or at least he said before he got out. See if I can... if I get a home run, no, I'll be so happy. Okay, maybe not. Aw, you buggers. I can't even score a point. Like I said, don't get a Brit to play an American sports game. Buy a new land. For some reason... oh, okay, he actually is... stop pressing the reset button. Buy new land. Let's go. Yeah, I was about to say, why is he green? And I realised, oh, he actually is green in the game. I was getting confused with a Ding Dong, which is basically a hack of this, which I have on the 84-in-1 that I have. Yes, kill the spider, and I will collect the ace, please. Because it gets me points, and points are win. Yes, Binary Land, I'm sure you all know what this game is by now, because I have it on one or two multi-carts. And it's just a very good game. So, moving on. Game number 22 is Bird Week. This game is absolute shite. I don't care what anyone says, it really is just shite, because it's basically just you collect butterflies and feed them to birds. Like it's like, why did they even bother making this game? It's just one of those. I swear this has got to be the most pointless thing I've ever seen after social networking. I'm sorry, I just never understood the concept of social networking. Like, yeah, we could talk to people online, even though most of the people that we know, we could talk to in real life. I mean, it's understandable, like, I suppose it's understandable to an extent, like, if you want to talk to someone that's, like, miles away, like, you know, like, they live in a different country or something. But I don't know anyone that's like that. All the people that I care to talk to live just down the road, I think. Or in my own home. And yes, not sure how discussion about this game turned to social networking rant, but whatever. Yeah, game number 23 is Bomberman. Sure you'll know, well, I'm sure you're familiar with this one. Because Bomberman is an awesome game. It is one of the undisputed classics of the 80s. Oh, come on, I don't want to blow you up. Yeah, so people can get the demo man for this game. If the demo man was here, he would just, well, these things would not be around for long. But it doesn't matter because Bomberman himself is making short work of these balloons. Yes, apparently the balloons from Balloon Fight have wanted revenge for blowing them up, and so they grew facial features and so to kill Bomberman. Game number 24 is Bomb Sweeper. Now this, no, Bomb Sweepy? Yeah, Bomb Sweeper. Now this one I've not shown before, and I know this for a fact because it's actually a homebrew game made by, I think it was Snowbro. He was basically sort of a homebrew developer. He also developed D-Pad Hero 2, of course. And this game is basically a remake of the Game & Watch game of the same name. It's actually a very interesting concept. It's actually a pretty good game as well. Bit stupid that it was included on this. And I can't imagine Snowbro would be too happy. I mean, if someone put homebrew game, yeah, it's like if I made a homebrew game and some boss had stuck it on like a plug-and-play thing, I would not be too impressed. But there we go, sod law, I suppose. As you can see, the game works very well. I mean, it's just like it was on the Game & Watch. And, yeah. I always love this sort of homebrew stuff. It works very well. And I highly recommend you play it. Okay, I messed that up. So let's move on to the next game. Game number 25 is Brush Roller. Once again, they're going to fit the name on. Yes, for once they actually moved the copyright, which is kind of unusual for this game, because usually they'd leave it in. Oh no, maybe they like Wang Xinhui too much. Just say, yeah, we'll remove the copyright. Or maybe they just realise that he's an unlicensed developer, and therefore you can't really sue them, I suppose. Then again, come to think of it, I don't think any of these companies could, you know, any of the companies involved in making these games could really sue Shenzhen. I think it was Shenzhen Nanjing who made this device. I'm not entirely sure though. Yeah, I don't think they could really sue them because, after all, they're a Chinese company. And the way the law works is, well, the way law in China works is that if someone makes a plug-and-play device, you cannot, well, is that if someone rips you off, you cannot sue them because the Chinese government are bosses like that. And they're really shameless when it comes to plagiarism. I mean, like that Final Combat game, for example. Yeah, I can't be bothered with that anymore, so let's move on. Yeah, Final Combat basically being a complete rip-off of Team Fortress 2. You should look it up in case you're not aware of it. Burger Time is a classic, although it's a really difficult classic, as you will see. And yes, Big Time starring, I forget the bloke's name, but he has a H on his hat, so I'll just assume he's Rimmer from Red Dwarf. I'm sorry, but if someone has H on their head, I'll immediately call them Rimmer, just in reference to that. Red Dwarf is an awesome show, and this is the problem with the controller. Like, sometimes you press the down button, it doesn't work, which is especially bad with this game. You have to press the down button quite a lot. It's especially bad here because the game's so bloody hard to begin with. I can't even beat the first level without dying. And yes, mainly because there's so many bloody enemies to avoid, and because it's such a pain in the arse to actually get into position with the lads in the first place. But yes, game number 27 is Check and Pop, sorry. And Check and Pop, as I mentioned earlier, is quite lackluster. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the worst game on here. I mean, it's a lot better than Super Arabian, but it's still not what I'll call one of the better games. What's kind of weird is that Taito, the company that made it, did actually sort of reference Check and Pop in what was it called? Pop and Pop for the PlayStation, where there was sort of where Chaken, the bloke that I'm playing as, is sort of like an unlockable character, which is, I find it kind of odd that they would bother referencing this game. I mean, it's not really one of their better titles. Yeah, I mean, why not reference? I would say, you know, I mean, I can't really think of any other titles though, and at least not any of their cutie titles that were better that they actually bothered to include. And yeah, I'm not very good at this game either, as you might have noticed. So screw that. Let's move on to game number 28, which is chess. Although it is not actually chess, it is actually Gomoku no Rabi, or just Go if you prefer. And this game is essentially Connect 5 with an Othello board, as I like to call it. If I remember correctly, I'm the black player, and you have to stop the white player from getting 5 in a row while making sure that you get 5 in a row. Yeah, let's just say this game's even harder than Burger Time in my opinion. I've not managed to win this game at all. Mainly because the computer is an absolute bastard even on the easy difficulty. And yes, that and I was just never a fan of this game to begin with. It's just boring. You know, if I wanted to play Connect 5, you know, I'd have to be a complete Philistine if I wanted to play Connect 5. Of course I'm not a complete Philistine. Complete being the important word there. So yes, game number 29 is Circus Char. No, not Circus Characters. Circus Charlie. Yes, yeah, another one of the classics, as you're probably aware. Basically, you play as Charlie, as the title would imply, and you have to go around in a circus and do various tricks, like jumping, like standing on a lion. Yeah, I can't even talk now. But, playing as a lion while jumping over stuff. Yes, indeed. And yes, the game plays very well, actually. Commendable. One of the better games on... Oh, whoops. Press the B button by accident and I realised the B button actually jumped, but whatever. Let's move on to the next game, so I can't be bothered with it anymore. Okay, so game number 30 is Clue Clue Land, or if you prefer, Clue Clue Land. Yes, the Nintendo classic. No, well, yeah, I suppose probably one of the more obscure black box games, but it is still a very good one nonetheless. And yes, as you may notice, it's a bit weird. Basically, you have to sort of unravel the coins from Zelda. Yes, they look like coins from Zelda to me at least. And make sure not to fall into the hole or get captured by the bad guys. I mean, the pictures that actually appear are randomized. So, for example, this one is obviously supposed to be some sort of smiley face. And later on, you get... I forget actually. I think you can get like hearts and houses and such. And I should be done. Yay! Seizure time. Great. I don't understand what's with that seizure thing at the end. And yes, then we get Cool Spot here. Seriously, it does look like Cool Spot to me. And yes, and we get the bonuses. Great. Later on the levels get recoloured, I think, and not much else. And game number 31, and yes, you might notice that we are near the end already, because it's blatantly obvious by the alphabetisation of the games. But yes, game number 31 is Combat, or Field Combat. And this game is very confusing, and I don't know how to play it. Seriously, I've played this game so many times and I still don't know how to play it. I mean, basically what you have to do is you have to infiltrate the enemy base. I'm not sure how you're supposed to do it though. Like, I understand that you're supposed to, like, infiltrate the base or whatever. I just don't understand how the hell you're supposed to actually do this. It's just so bloody confusing. I mean, I know you can press the A and B buttons to sort of get random allies to join you. But I haven't got a clue how to defeat the helicopter. I presume you're supposed to call on allies to do that for you. But I can never get it to work because the allies are complete twits, quite frankly. And yes, I can't bother with this anymore, so moving on. Game number 32 is Defender. No, it's actually Defender 2. What's kind of weird is that they actually use the American version. Usually they use the Japanese version. But no, here they thought, nah, let's use the American version instead. Either way, oh, come on, I couldn't even dodge that. Yeah, either way, it is actually a pretty awesome game, assuming an enemy didn't spawn camp you to death. Yeah. You could call me a noob for that, but I say that there was no way I could actually dodge that. Go to the teleporter, which makes the screen turn grey for no particular reason. Seriously, you think they'd at least come up with a decent effect for that, but whatever. It plays very well actually. It's just like Defender 1 really. I mean, I don't really know what the difference is, to be honest. I mean, I suppose there's more enemies, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, one enemy and I should almost be done! Oh wait, no, that is complete. And you might also notice that the music is actually from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, funny enough. Which is kind of odd, but whatever. PvP, great. Game number 33 is Devil World. Great game, as I will show you. It's kind of like Pac-Man with the bloke from Bubble Bobble. Seriously, he really does look like the bloke from Bubble Bobble. And you have to go around with a cross and collect dots. Later on you have to collect books, strangely enough. Well, I say books, they're actually the Bible, specifically. And, yeah, and you sort of have to put them in that cross at the middle. And, okay, oh god, I'm gonna die, no! Okay, maybe not. I managed to... Yes. And yes, you can destroy the enemies and turn them into eggs. They look like eggs. That's what they look like to me. The game gets faster later on. Aside from that, there isn't really much else to say. So, game number 34, I forget what it was. I think it was Dig Dug. Yeah, Dig Dug. I don't understand why they call it Dig Dug 1, considering that Dig Dug 2 is not actually included. But yeah, Dig Dug 1. Actually, it might be on the multi-cart, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, Dig Dug. If you don't know what this game is, then you need help. Let's just put it that way. Dig Dug, awesome game. And I will demonstrate to you by attempting... Oh, I failed. By attempting to kill that green thing. I forget its name. One thing I've always found weird about Dig Dug is how the Pukas are enemies in this game, and yet in Pac-Man World you have to save them, which is just weird. It's like, I mean, what, does Pac-Man just hate the bloke from Dig Dug or something? I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense to me. But hey, Dig Dug's an awesome game, so no complaints there. Oh, I want the vegetable! No, give me the turnip! And yes, I shall penetrate this thing to safety. Yay! I win. I'm sure you'll know what Dig Dug is, so I don't really need to introduce you to this one, I don't think. And the last game is Donkey Kong. Yes, actually makes fit the title, unsurprisingly. And yes, Donkey Kong is an awesome game, as I'm sure you're all aware. And yes, let's start. As I'm pretty sure I've stated in some of my previous videos, Donkey Kong is probably my favourite of the trilogy. Donkey Kong Jr., great game. Donkey Kong 3, not so much. I mean, Donkey Kong 3 is alright, but yeah, it's not as good, in my opinion. I mean, it's just not quite as addictive, really. I mean, Donkey Kong is an undisputed classic. Same for Donkey Kong Jr., really. I mean, Donkey Kong Jr. is a great game, but I prefer this one myself. I'm not sure if it's just because of the way the levels are designed or something, but I don't know, that was just my opinion. Basically, I don't think I really need to explain this game. I'm sure you'll know how to play it. And basically, you play as Mario. You have to guide him through several screens of awesome. And yeah, you have to save Pauline, the girlfriend, back in 1981 before he dumped her and went for Princess Peach instead. And yeah, you have to save her from Donkey Kong. She would also reappear in Pinball for the NES, which is not included on here, as you might have noticed. And yes, then you get some of the most repetitive music ever. Seriously. Still, it's better than what that Harry Potter game has to offer. And the Super Mario pack, for that matter. And I keep saying matter, for that matter, because I like saying it, because I can. Yes, let us complete the level. Preferably not getting killed by the fire in process. I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. Need to burn. Fire. Ha! The fire turned blue so I can kill it. Actually, I don't get that. Like, since when can you kill fire with a hammer? I mean, I don't care if it's got eyes or not. You cannot kill fire. It is impossible. Ugh. Imagine if it happened in Captain America, like the element of fire was just destroyed, and then they'd only have the other 4 ones left. Then again, Captain Planet wasn't really all that great to begin with, but still. And yes, game complete. And then it loops over and over again until you lose. Somehow I actually managed to get to the 5th loop of this game. I haven't got a clue how I managed it. But yeah, I think this is all I've got left to show you. So on the whole, I was kind of disappointed by this thing, actually. Mainly because of the slightly off emulation, and because of the lack of games. I mean, a lot of these I've seen of like 50 to 100, I think. Whereas this only has 35. Still, it's better than some offerings where they only give you like 6 games, but still. And of course the multi-cop that it comes with doesn't work. Actually, I might try it just to be sure. I wonder if it's got something to do with the AV cables or something. Probably not, but let's try it anyway. No, it just comes with a green... So it comes with a green screen? Usually it comes with a black screen. That is weird. Okay, now it comes with a pink screen, then it goes to a green screen. What the hell's going on? I'm going to have to test this later, just see if I can actually get it to work. Anyway, this is Cheetah Red, and I'll see you later.